which is solving quadratic equations of in one variable algebraically. Okay, what is a sorry, what is a quadratic equation? If we have an equation of second degree and in one variable as x, as we see here, if we have an equation here, ax power 2 plus bx plus c equals 0. It's an equation of second degree because the big degree here is 2. So it is second degree equation. And also we call it quadratic equation. Quadratic equation because of second degree equation. And there is very important condition here that a is a real number doesn't equal 0. Because if a equals 0, it will not be second degree equation, because here we will appear only bx plus c. It will be first degree. So we have a doesn't equal 0 at all. It must not equal 0 because to be second degree equation. Okay, how to solve this equation? If we have second degree equation here and in one variable means that we have x here, only x. A, b, c are real numbers. Okay, and as we said, a doesn't equal 0. Can b equal 0? Okay, it doesn't problem. It's not problem. C can also be 0 or any other real number. But we have a condition here that a doesn't equal 0 to keep power 2, to keep it as a quadratic equation. Okay, what the solution of this equation? The solution set of the equation we put here. We have two solutions, first solution and second solution. Why two solutions only? Because it's of second degree. Okay, if we have example here, if we have an equation x power 2 plus 5x plus 6 equals 0, and you want to find the equation, the solution of the equation here, we have to find out what the values of x that makes this expression equal 0. We have two methods, two algebraic methods to solve this equation. The first method is by factorizing or factorization. What is the factorization? If we have here x power 2 plus 5x plus 6, as we said before, that we can factorize this equation into two brackets multiplied each other and equal 0. X power 2 we factorize is as x and x. We have here positive. Positive means that we have here positive multiplied by positive or negative multiplied by negative. Okay, but we put here as the first sign here, so it will be positive and positive. 6 here we will factorize it. 6 may be 6 multiplied by 1 or 3 multiplied by 2, and we search about a number, two numbers, their product equals 6 and their sum equals 5. They will be 3 and 2. So 3 multiplied by 2 equals 6 and their sum equals 5. Okay, we have to find out if the solution is right. We multiply this means by each other. It will be positive 3x, and the product of extremes also, it will be positive 2x. Their sum will be 5x, and this is the sum which is the middle term. So we have that the solution here is right, or factorization is right. Okay, if we have two brackets or two numbers multiplied each other and the product equals 0, it will be the first one here equals 0, or the second one, which is b, x plus 2 equals 0. So here x will be negative 3 and x will be negative 2. So solution set here equals negative 3 and negative 2. So we have two solutions here, negative 3 and negative 2. To be sure that the solution is right, if we substitute about x by negative 3 here, negative 3 power 2 plus 5 multiply negative 3 plus 6, the answer of course will be 0. And if we substitute about negative 2, negative 2 power 2 plus 5 multiplied by negative 2 plus 6, the answer of course equals 0. So the solution set of this quadratic equation here is the set of negative 3 and negative 2. Let's move to the next method. We have two methods, as we said, to solve the equation, the quadratic equation. The first method we did use factorizing, and the second method will be something called the algebraic formula or the formula. Let's see what is the formula here. X equal negative b plus or minus square root b power 2 minus 4ac over 2a. What's a, b, and c? We will write again the equation. The equation is x power 2 plus 5x plus 6 equals 0. And we intend to solve it by the second method, which is the formula or the general formula. Here we have a. A here is the coefficient of x power 2. What is the coefficient of x power 2 here? It will be 1. So a equals 1. And b is the coefficient of x. So b equals 5. And c is the absolute value, which is 6. So c equals 6. A equal 1, b equal 5, and c equals 6. And we will substitute here by a, b, and c. So to solve this equation, we put x. Negative b means the converse of the sign b. Here the sign is positive 5, so we put negative 5 plus or minus square root. B power 2 means 5 power 2 minus 4 AC. A here is 1 multiplied by C, which is 6, over 2A. 2 multiplied by A is 1. And by using your calculator, first you put plus negative 5 plus this root over 2 multiply 1. The answer will be negative 3, or if we put minus here, the answer will be negative 2. So we can say that the solution set equals negative 3 and negative 2 is the same solution with factorization. Pay attention, my dear students, that we call negative 3 and negative 2, which is the solutions here, are the two roots of the equation. Negative 3 and negative 2 are the solutions here. We call them the roots or the two roots of the equation. The two roots of the equation have the same meaning as the solution set. Okay? Let's move to another question here. New paper. Solve in R. In R means real number. Real number, as we know, have many numbers. If we express it here, we first studied something called natural numbers. Natural numbers means 0, 1, 2, and so on. And we have a set bigger and contains a natural number called Q, okay, or Z. Z means integer number. We have 0, 1, 2, and so on. And also we add -1, -2, and so on. And then we have a bigger set, which is Q. Q contains all this number plus square root 25, and square root 4, cubic root 23, 27, and so on. And any number can put by the fraction a over b, but b doesn't equal 0. And also we have Q dash. Q dash is irrational numbers, set of irrational numbers here. These numbers as pi, as we said before, and square root 5 as example, cubic root 4, and so on. All these numbers called R, which is real number. So when we say solve in R, we mean solve if in numbers, our x can be the solution as any number of these numbers. Okay, we have here another example. Okay, solve in R. -4 plus 25 x power 2 equals 0. Someone says that this equation is a strange one because we have the quadratic equation in the form ax power 2 plus bx plus c equals 0, but this one hasn't the same form. But when we put it as this form, 25 x power 2, and we haven't x here, so x here equal 0, or the coefficient of x equals 0, and we have -4, which is c equals 0. And by comparing, a here is the same as 25, b as 0, and c as -4. And we will use the two methods to solve this equation. It is a quadratic equation because of second degree equation. We can use factorization, put it like that, 25x power 2 minus 4 equals 0. By using factorization, we can factorize it as difference of two squares. As we know, difference of squares means this is a complete square of 5x, and this term is a complete square of 2. So here 25 is 5 multiplied by 5, x power 2 is x multiplied by x. Negative means negative multiplied positive, or positive multiplied by negative. 4, it's 2 multiply itself here. And to find out that is it correct, we multiply the means, or the product of means and product of streams. Their sum will be 0, which is the middle term. Okay, to find out, or to find the solution set of this equation, we put here 5x minus 2 equals 0, or 5x plus 2 equals 0. If we have two numbers multiply each other equals 0, then the first equals 0, or the second equals 0. And we try to solve this equation to find x. put here 5x equals 2, so x equals 2 over 5, or 5x equals negative 2 and x 2 over 5. So the two roots are 2 over 5 and negative 2 over 5, or solution set equal negative 2 over 5 or 2 over 5. And then we have solution set by this method. We still have the second method, which is formula. We will use general formula to solve the second degree equation here. It will be easy also, and we can solve it by it. Okay, this equation is negative 4 plus 25x power 2 equals 0. Sorry. And by rearrange it. By rearranging it, it will be 25x power 2 minus 4 equals 0. We try to find a, b, and c. A is the coefficient of x power 2, and it is equal 25. B is the coefficient of x, and we have no x here, so b equals 0. C is the absolute value term, so c equals negative 4. And we know that the general formula is x equals negative b plus or minus square root b power 2 minus 4 is c over 2a. And we will substitute. Negative b here means negative 0. 0 is neither positive nor negative. So b here is 0 plus or minus square root b power 2 is 0 power 2 here minus 4 is c. A is 25 times c, which is negative 4, over 2a, 2 times a, which is 25. By using your calculator, and first you consider it square root 0 power 2 minus 4 times 25 times negative 4 over 2 times 25 as positive. Don't write anything. Or the other method to put negative. So we have two solutions. The first solution will be 2 over 5, and second one, when we put minus here, will be negative 2 over 5. And these are the two roots of the equation, and we can write solution set equals 2 over 5 and negative 2 over 5. And now we have solved the equation or the quadratic equation by two methods, which is by factorization and now here by the general formula. Let's move to another solution or another question to solve. If we have another equation like that, solve in R. We have here x power 2 equals 5x plus 6. Here we have a small problem. The problem is that x power 2 in a side and 5x plus 6 in the other side of the equation. So we have transfer. We will transfer 5x to be negative 5x in the other side and 6 to be negative 6 in the other side. So we can write it as the form x power 2 minus 5x minus 6 equals 0. we have this equation in the form ax power 2 here plus bx plus c equals 0. So a equals 1, b equals negative 5, and c equals negative 6. Okay, we have the two methods to solve this equation. First method, which is factorization. We have x power 2, factorize it by x multiplying by x. We have here negative. Negative means positive multiplied by negative or negative multiplied by positive. Here we can put negative multiplied by positive. Okay, 6 here can be 6 multiplied by 1 or 6 equals 3 multiplied by 2. What we will put here in the solution, is it 6 multiplied by 1 or 3 multiplied by 2? We will choose. By any method we choose, we here have negative in the middle term. That means that we have subtract these two numbers. When we subtract 6 minus 1, it will be 5, but 3 minus 2 equal 1. So 6 minus 1 equal 5. It is the right solution. And of course we will put negative beside the biggest number, which is 6. So it's 6 multiplied by 1, and if we multiply the product, find the product of the means and product of extremes, we'll find that negative 6x plus x equal negative 5x, which is the middle term. So the factorization here is right. To solve this equation, as we know, we put x minus 6 here equals 0 and x plus 1 equals 0. So x equals 6 and x equal negative 1. So solution set here by factorizing equals 6 and negative 1. So the two roots here of these two equations are 6 and negative 1. We say that the two roots are 6 and negative 1, or solution set equals 6 and negative 1. What is the meaning of solution? As we said before, that if we substitute x by 6 here, 6 power 2 minus 5 multiplied by 6 minus 6, the answer of course will be 0. And if we put instead of x the negative 1, or negative 1 instead of x, negative 1 power 2 minus 5 multiplied by negative 1 minus 6 equals 0. So the solution set here equals 6 and negative 1, or the two roots here equal 6 and negative 1. We have the method of factorization, and if we use the second method, which is the general formula, as we know, x equals negative b, positive or negative, square root b power 2 minus 4ac over 2a, and by substituting on by a, b and c, we have a here equals 1. 1 is the coefficient of x power 2, so a equal 1, and b is the coefficient of x, so b equals what? Equals negative 5, not 5, equals negative 5 by its sign. And c here is the absolute term, which is negative 6. Okay, here negative b means we converse negative 5 to 5, so we have here 5 plus or minus square root. B power 2 means negative 5 power 2 minus 4 multiplied by a, which is 1, multiplied by c, which is negative 6. Put it inside a bracket like this. Don't make a fault. The fault is if we put it minus 6 without bracket here, that means that you subtract 6 from this answer. So put multiply in your calculator by the bracket here inside bracket put 6, negative 6, which is C, over 2a, 2 multiplied by a, which is 1. And of course, I guarantee you that you will find that the solution set will be, one of them will be 6 and the other equals negative 1. Why two solutions? Because we have here positive or negative, as we said. We put in the calculator 5 plus square root over 2 times 1 the first time, and we back again delete plus, put minus to have the second solution. So the answer will be here 6 and negative 6, and solution set will be 6 and negative 1, and the two roots are 6 and negative 1. Okay, let's move to another equation. Of course, another quadratic equation, because our lesson today, my dear students, is solving quadratic equations using formula or factorization, which is algebraically solution. Okay, let's move to another question here. Solve in R. We have an equation which is x plus 5 over x equals 4, such that x doesn't equal 0. It cannot be 0 here because 5 over 0, as you know, meaningless. Okay, we have here an equation, but we have a small problem here. The problem is that we have x here in the denominator, but we intend to make it as the form ax power 2 plus bx plus c equals 0. The problem x here in denominator, we can overcome it by multiplying all the equation by x. So when we multiply it by x to cancel this denominator, which is x, x multiplied by x here, of course, will be x power 2. X multiplied by 5 over x, we cancel x by x here with x, and the answer will be 5, equal x multiplied by 4, it will be 4x, of course. And we will put this equation in this form. To put this equation in the form, it will be x power 2, and we transfer 4x here to be negative 4x in the middle, plus 5 equals 0. We rearranged here the equation to be x power 2 first, which is second degree, and x, which is first degree, and 5, which is of 0 degree. So we rearranged it descendingly according to power of x. Here x power 2, and here x power 1, and here x power 0, which is 1. 1 multiplied 5, it's 5 itself. So we have a very simple quadratic equation here. We can solve it using factorization. Of course, the solution will be easy. We factorize x power 2 here to be x multiplied by x, and we have here positive. Positive means that here positive multiplied by positive, or negative multiplied by negative. Okay, and we sign it by this negative, so the answer will be negative multiplied by negative. And 5 here is 5 multiplied by 1, or 1 multiplied by 5. To find out if the solution here is right, we find the product of means and product of extremes. Product of means negative 5x, and the product of extremes equals negative 1x. Their sum, of course, equal negative 6x, and this is, sorry, here we have something wrong. Okay, we have 5 multiplied by 1. We have here 5. Okay, we will rearrange and make something in this equation. This equation here, negative. So here is negative. So here is negative also. Okay. And if we have negative here, we will put negative multiplied by positive here. And put the greatest number here is 5. So negative 5x here. And the product of extremes equals 1x. So the answer negative 5 plus 1 equals negative 4x. And this is the right solution here for the middle term. Okay. It was something wrong in the question, and we make it right. Okay. We have here two numbers multiply each other, and their product equals 0. That means that x minus 5 equals 0, or x plus 1 equals 0. So x equals 5 and x equals negative 1. So solution set here is 5 and negative 1. And the two roots of this equation here is 5. The two roots here are 5 and negative 1. This by factorization method. If we use algebraic form or formula method, we put x here equal negative b plus or minus square root b power 2 minus 4ac over 2a. And by substituting by a, b, and c, which is a? A here is 1, b here is negative 4, and c is negative 5. Okay. Here we have a equals 1, b equals negative 4, and c equals negative 5. Then by substitution we have x equal negative b means the converse of negative 4. It will be 4 plus or minus square root. B power 2 means negative 4 all power 2 minus 4ac. A is 1 and c is negative 5. Put it inside bracket as we said before, over 2 times 1. So the x here by using plus will be 5, and by using minus x equal negative 1, and so solution set here equals 5 and negative 1, or the two roots are 5 and negative 1. Okay, let's move to another question here. We have many examples for you, my dear students, to practice well on solution of algebraic equation algebraically. So we have an example here. Look here carefully. Solve in R. The question is 5 x power 2 plus 2x equals 4. We will try to solve this equation using factorization if we can. But first, we will put it in the form 5x power 2 plus 2x, and we transfer 4 to be negative 4 equals 0. We will try to use factorization if it can be. Here 5x power 2 and 4. To factorize 5x power 2, it will be 5 and 1. X power 2 will be x and x. We have here negative, so it is negative multiplied by positive or vice versa. 4 equals 2, either 2 multiplied by 2, or 4 equals 4 multiplied by 1, or even 1 multiplied by 4. Okay, these the three methods to find this equation. Okay, first we will put 2 multiplied by 2 to check. Find the product of means and product of extremes. The product means here negative 2x and product of extremes equal 10x. Negative 2x plus 10x equals 8x, but the middle term here equals 2x, so it's not 2 by 2. Put it 4 multiplied by 1 and check. The product of means equals negative 4x and product of extremes equals 5x. By adding each other will be 1x, positive 1x, and it's fault. So the solution here will be not 4 multiplied by 1. If we convert it to be 1 multiplied by 4 and make the same check, negative 1x here, and we have here 20x. The answer will be 19x positive, and this is no answer. So now we are sure that the factorization method fault. So we have to find the other solution, which is using formula. So formula is a very useful method to find the solution of this quadratic equation, because factorization here is fault. We cannot factorize it. So we here have a equals 5, b equals 2, and c equals negative 4. Okay, and we know formula is negative b plus or minus square root b power 2 minus 4ac over 2a equals, we will substitute about a, b, and c. Negative b means the converse of 2, which is positive here, put it negative, plus or minus square root. B power 2 means 2 power 2 minus 4a, here is 5, and c is negative 4, put it inside bracket here, over 2a, 2 multiplied 5. And first use your calculator and put plus. When you put plus here, you will find the solution will be negative 1 plus square root 21 over 5, which is approximately to the nearest 2 decimals will be 0.72. And negative x, when we use negative or minus here, will be x equals negative 1 minus square root 21 over 5, and approximately equals negative 1.12. Okay, so solution set, or the two roots here, equals 0.72 and negative 1.12, and we can write this number here as a first solution instead of 0.72. Okay, and we can put the second number as negative 1 minus root 21 over 5 here instead of negative 1.12, and we have here the two roots, negative 1 plus square 21 over 5 and negative 1 minus square 21 over 5, the solution set of this equation and the two roots of this equation. Okay, let's move to another example. Yes, I have many examples for you to practice and understand well the solution of the quadratic equation. Okay, solve in R also which is real number. X multiplied by x minus 4 equals 3. And we have a very small problem here, that this equation is not in the formula. By putting the formula, we multiplied x by x and also multiplied by x by negative 4. And the answer, of course, will be x times x equals x power 2. X times negative 4 equals negative 4x. And we can transfer 3 to be negative 3 here. And we will solve this equation. First, we will try using factorization if we can, or if we find a solution using factorization. Here we have x power 2 minus 4x minus 3. We will try. Maybe it succeed or not. X power 2 here, x multiplied by x. We have here negative, means negative multiplied positive, or positive multiplied by negative. 3 here equals 3 multiply 1, or 1 multiplied by 3. If we put first 3 multiplied by 1 and try to check the product of means plus the product of extremes, the answer will be negative 2x. Negative 2x here is not the middle term. And if we exchange 1 and 3, negative 1x plus 3x here will be positive 2x, and it is not the middle term. So we know now that using factorization is fault, or we cannot use factorization. So it's useful to find it by using formula, which is x equal negative b plus or minus square root b power 2 minus 4ac over 2a. And what is a, b, and c? Here a is the coefficient of x power 2, which is 1. B is the coefficient of x, which is negative 4. And c is the absolute term, which is negative 3. Okay? And by substitution, we will find that negative b is the converse of b, which is negative 4, will be 4. Negative means negative times negative equal positive. So here, plus or minus square root b power 2, which is negative 4, all power 2, minus 4 multiplied by a, which is 1, multiplied by c, which is negative 3, and yes, put it in a bracket to make it well and to avoid mistakes, over 2a. 2 times a is 1. And by using your calculator, you will find that x equals, by using plus here, x will be 2 plus root 7. But when you put minus instead of plus, you will find that x equals 2 minus root 7. Okay? Notice, my dear students, that here 2 plus root 7 and 2 minus root 7, when we have the two roots or two solutions are in roots, we have two conjugate numbers, 2 plus root 7, 2 minus root 7. Here plus will be minus here. Okay? And we can find it approximately using calculator. It will be approximately 4.65 by approximating it to the two decimals here, negative 0.65. So our roots here, 2 plus root 7 and 2 minus root 7, or 4.65 and negative 0.65, and we will find the solution set here are 4.65 and negative 0.65. Okay, So we have the solutions now. Okay, let's move to another equation. We have today many examples to find the square root or the two roots of the solution of the equation. And we have the second equation for you that we have denominator x power 2. So solve in R. 1 plus 2 over x equals 5 over x power 2. We have here, in fact, two problems. The first one is x power 2 in denominator, and second one is x in denominator also. And we want to omit it to find the general formula. To omit x power 2 and x, we multiply all this equation by x power 2. When we multiply x power 2 by 1, the answer will be, of course, x power 2 plus x power 2 times 2 over x. Here, if we put x power 2 times 2 over x here, x here is power 1. Cancel power 1 with 1x, the answer will be x. X times 2 equal 2x equals 5 over x power 2 multiply x power 2 will cancel by each other, x power 2 by x power 2 here, and answer will be 5. And by transferring the 5 here, it will be x power 2 plus 2x minus 5 equals 0. Okay, and we have here x power 2 plus 2x plus minus 5 equals 0. A here is the coefficient of x power 2 is 1. B is 2. And C, which is the absolute value term, equals negative 5. Okay. If we try to solve it by factorization, the method is default. Okay. So we will use directly the formula. X is negative b, keep with me, plus or minus square root b power 2 minus 4ac over 2a. Okay. By substitute, we will find that negative b will be negative 2 plus or minus square root b power 2 means 2 power 2 minus 4 multiplied by a, which is 1, multiplied by c, which is negative 5, and my advice also put it in a bracket, over 2 multiplied by a, which is 1. So if we use calculator, the answer will be x, the first x will be negative 1 plus root 6, and the other x will be negative 1 minus root 6. And notice that they are conjugate, so we can write solution set by negative 1 plus root 6 and negative 1 minus root 6, or we can put it in a decimal approximating to the nearest two decimals. It will be the first one 1.45, and here approximately equals negative 3.45. So we can write the solution set here 1.45 and negative 3.45, and the two roots will be negative 1 plus root 6 and negative 1 minus root 6, or we can say that the two roots are 1.45 and negative 3.45, and so we have the solution set of this equation. My dear students, is the end of our lesson for today. Until we meet again, my pleasure. My name is Abdel Nasser Gaber, and we have the pleasure of my colleagues in the studio, Goodbye and good luck.